The Metro North train runs 50 feet from the back of where I live in Bedford Hills. And there's no shopping in Bedford Hills. So, armed with my senior discount, I visit various towns to do my shopping because I happen to be very fussy about what I eat, and so is my wife. And I cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the rule in the house is the plate goes out full to my wife, it comes back empty, everything is okay, you watch your sports. So I ride the Metro North. One of the stops I frequently go to is Pleasantville. And I recommend their Murray's Chicken, and their seafood's pretty good too. And then, you know, every store has specials, and I stock up because I have a nice sized pantry. And by the train station, they have a memorial plaza with many benches. And each one has a plaque dedicated to someone. And I'm sure I've read them all and paid my respects. But there's one that was special. Not only was it dedicated to Patty Dwyer in 2018, and she worked for the town, but it had a philosophy on it. 8 words, like 8 wonders of the world. Never cease to wonder why wonders never cease. As soon as I saw that and read it, I said, this is my special place. So after I'm done with shopping, mindful of the train schedule for that 13-minute ride back to Bedford Hills, I sit there. And if I have enough time, I enjoy a cup of coffee. And I have a beautiful view of the western sky, a large expanse of sky, nice trees, birds singing. And I work on open mics. So I'm sure people walking by said, oh, there's another old man talking to himself. And that made me realize that everybody needs a special place. And I thought back to the first time I had one. It was the mid-1960s. And we lived in a crowded rural flat in Brooklyn. I was the middle of 7 children with mom and dad and our grandparents. 6 small rooms. Over Harry's laundromat, over the IRT subway line that I could hear rumbling underneath. Anyway, there'd be nights I'd wake up in the middle of the night in the boys' bedroom, slip down from the bunk bed, walk quietly past the kitchen and the dining room, which was actually the girls' bedroom at night. And there in the corner of the living room was our hi-fi. It was a magic box. When you turned it on, there was a ruby red crystal that just glowed. And I'd take out my older sister, Antoinette, Tony, she wanted to be called, her 33 1/3 long playing albums. I remember playing Joan Baez. A few songs stand out in my mind. Copper Kettle. She sang this song with such joy. And I'm trying to figure out the words. I feel joy, but it's about a copper kettle and a copper coil and making moonshine. What do I have to do with moonshine? But I enjoyed the joy. The next one was The Ninth Prisoner, but it was sung in Spanish. People sing in different languages. And it had such passion in it. Look, fortunately, it had a translation in the back. And the philosophy that stands out was this man was going to be executed the next day. But I do not repent, he proclaimed. Wow, principles. Then I played Frank Sinatra's Only the Lonely. And they had a portrait of him, look behind the glass, and I thought there were tears streaming down his face. And my goodness, you could count on him singing in a bar, smoking a cigarette, feeling sorry for himself, and he ended up getting the girls. I tried that. It never worked for me. But one song, I could remember some of the lyrics. It's 2:45. There's no one in the place but you and me. So set 'em up, Joe, because I got a story that I think you should know. And then I really traveled via these 33 records. Alan Tunji, Drums of Passion? My goodness. I know, being the only Greek family in a predominantly Irish and Italian neighborhood, they were things that were precious in our culture. They were special. We were the only ones in the neighborhood that ate stuffed grape leaves. I used to go with my grandmother to pick them from people's yards until they yelled at us, and then I had to run and try to keep up with her. But obviously they're things that are precious to other people. I can remember Akiawa, Akaye. I have no idea what that meant, but it meant something to them. Respect it. But I have to say, the one that really touched me the most was Moodsville, a jazz album. It had a startling modern art cover, so colorful, like a kaleidoscope. And I learned something. You don't need words to tell a story. The whole album, not a word was spoken. I could mouth pretend words to John Coltrane on his sexy sax. I see your face before me. Or I could see Thelonious Monk. Boy, I thought the name Zaharakos was unique. Thelonious Monk. I don't think there's a duplicate. I could hear and see his fingers like dancers on the keyboard. And then there was Miles Davis with his trumpet round about midnight. I'm telling you, that had me flying over the neighborhood. Not too fast and not too high, but just over and into a different world. I could see stars. I had a little ritual then. I wouldn't stop listening until I looked out at the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Newbury Street, until I watched the traffic light turn from green to red, from red to green, until I saw a car, it'd always be a solitary car, come up to the traffic light and stop at a red light. And then dutiful go on its way. And everybody, I believe, needs a special place. Even my cat, Teddy Bear, oh, the love of my life, has a special place. When I'm lying in bed on my back, she gets up there and she lies on my tummy up to my chest. And no matter how tired I am, I have to rub her because she's just purring the night away. So I say those 8 magic words. Never cease to wonder why wonders never cease.